Hey guys, so I just started a session right now, only on one table. I'm thinking I'm going to try and play 6 at a time and kind of just go through my thought process with kind of key important hands. Early in the stage of a Super Turbo tournament where you only start with 25 big blinds, you typically play pretty tight. I've only got one game up so far. Freaky flush, just raised. He's a fish, but I'm still going to go ahead and fold. No point in getting too pot committed with ace-jack early on, first hand of a tournament, especially a Super Turbo where the blinds go up so quickly. I guess I'm playing at off hours right now, so I might have a bit of trouble getting the action that I'd like, but I guess somebody's registered in a $40 game. Maybe I'll take a shot at that also. Was only going to play 10s and 20s for the video, but I guess I'll take action where I can get it right now. Just going to shark scope the one guy. I know everybody hates bum hunters, but if I'm going to make a video playing $40 games, I'd like to know that I've got a solid edge on the table. He seems like a decent player, but he's got a really low average ROI. I'd like to think that I've got a pretty solid edge on him. Plus, why not gamble it up at a $40 game, so I'll register. Okay, now we've got a second table going. Unfortunately, it's only a $5 sit and go. Like I said, at these off hours, I'm taking action, I guess, at whatever stake I can get. We got another player registered in the $40 game, White Wiggle. He is a super fish, down 3K in only 2.5K games. I guess it looks like he recently got third place in an MTT. Maybe he's taking a shot at some higher stakes sit and goes. After that $500 cash of his, $600 cash of his. I guess as you can see, I don't have a HUD up right now. Sometimes I play sit and goes with a HUD, some without. On a small site like 888 Poker, you get to know players better, so I find that there's no real need for a HUD. Any of the regs I typically have a decent read on, and a lot of the other players I'll also have an alright read on. Okay, now we've got 3 games up. I'm just going to tile my tables. Hopefully I can get 3 big tables going, or sorry, 6 big tables going. Ace Queen under the gun, very first hand, gonna fold. I always see people make plays with hands like Ace Queen early on. There just isn't a point to it. Maybe if I was on the button or in the small blind, I'd raise it up to 50 or 60 chips and just try and take it down, but no point in early position early on in a Super Turbo sit and go. I've got Ace 8 here. Probably 30% of the time I would put in a raise if there was all folds, but against any strength I'm going to fold Ace 8 offsuit on the button every time when the blinds are still relatively low. Okay, now we've got 5 tables up, and I'm still registered in that $40 game. I'll register in a 20 also. I guess I'll unregister in the game that doesn't start up first. 4-8. Raise call. I'm going to fold. No point in messing around right now. Sometimes I would call there. Just it was 4-8 suited, but I'm just not feeling it right now. 10 here. Top 2 pair. No point in really value betting. I could call a small bet, but that's about it. Took it down. I've got ace king on the top right in the small blind. I'm going to go ahead and ship because I can get called by weaker aces. I might be flipping. Of course, I could be very far behind, but it's a $5 game, so players are very capable of calling with a much weaker hand. Flop top pair, ace-9 on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and check. There's 5 players to the flop. One guy just put out a half pot bet. I'm relatively strong. If I was two-handed, I would probably play this, but there's just too many combinations of hands that have me beat right now. I also didn't want to get myself into a tough decision on the turn of the river. Ace-jack on the button, short stack shipped. I'm going to go ahead and fold. Maybe if I had ace-queen there, I would have called. Well, I would have re-raised all in for my 545, but I guess I'll let him take that one down. Even though I was likely ahead, there's still 2 players left to act. And then I went and got ace-queen the next hand. Average stack limped. I don't respect him very much as a player. I think he's limping a lot, so I'm going to ship him. Well, I've got 1 caller, so 2 callers. I guess I need an ace. Alright, that hand didn't work out for me, but I had the right read on the guy under the gun. He ended up folding. I've still got a few chips left. Ace-8 on the top right. Min raise. I've got a smallish stack. I'm going to go ahead and flat call him. King's a hard card to bluff at because a lot of his range hits that. He could still have ace high, a pair, a king. He could have anything really, but there's no point in messing with him right now. Just registering in a few more games. Uh, 8-9, he bigger stack re-raised. I think I'm going to go ahead and call and hope to hit a hand. If not, I'll just fold on the flop. And I shipped the king-9. I only had 2.5 big blinds. Got it in very well. He's down to 2 outs. King-jack on the bottom left. I've got 9.5 big blinds left. He's done a half pot bet, but I'm going to ship him. I've got a pretty strong hand. He folded. I'm satisfied with that play, or his fold there. Deuces with the short stack, button. I only have 5 big blinds. It's a very standard shove for me there. Ran into 7s, not much I can do there. On the top left, I'm a short stack facing a short stack shove. If I had anything stronger than Jack 3 offsuit, I would call, but I just can't call. Can't call with Jack 3 offsuit for the rest of my chips. Pocket 9s on the button, pretty standard shove. 4-8. Oh my god, I hate to fold this hand just because I'm so short in chips, but I guess this is the last hand I can fold and still have a chance. not getting anything going for me on that table, unfortunately. I've got pocket sixes on the top left, so I obviously need to call. I've only got 2 big blinds. I'm going to ship him. Hopefully I could double up. Maybe make the money. I'd be very happy with the min cash at this point. He, of course, flopped his ace, so I am out of that game. I think I've played a bit tighter than I usually would in a Super Turbo. I haven't mixed it up with my hands yet much. I folded my pocket sixes on the bottom here. I would have gone on to win the hand, but I wouldn't have won much, so there's no point in playing that. It looks like the 2 players that were registered in the $40 game left the game, so now I'm registered for it on my own. Like I said, at these hours there's no action at the higher stake games. Ace Jack here, short stack min raised. Can't really have much of a clue of what he's got, but I've got a pretty decent hand for a Super Turbo, so I'm going to go ahead and ship him. Ran into queens, but I only risked a small percentage of my stack there to win a pretty good pot. Unfortunately, I couldn't catch my flush. I'm not far below chip average on this table, so I don't think that was the wrong call. He rarely has as strong as queens there, so, and a huge percentage of the time I'm sure he's got weaker than ace jack, like ace 8, ace 9. He's probably making a very similar play. King 5 on the top right. I'm so short stacked that I need to go all in at this point. Got called by queen 8. And I hit a boat. I'm going to call with ace 5 on the bottom here, just because I've only got a few big blinds. I faced a shove, got it inverse ace 4, so we split the pot. Ace 3 on the top. I only had five big blinds, but I folded. I'd probably shove there a decent percentage of the time, but the blinds weren't too high, and these players are playing relatively loose, so I could pick up chips at a later point if I need to, assuming I get a hand that can win. King 9 on the button on the bottom left. I would have shipped if the guy under the gun had not raised. I was left short stacked. So I'm going to go ahead and ship this queen king, and I'm going to ship this king jack. I've got about 350 chips on both tables. Unfortunately, I ran into ace king, so it's not looking like I'll win that hand. King queen on the bottom, short stacked again. Unfortunately, I'm getting caught here with a lot of short stacks three-handed. So I haven't really been able to show you guys much. Hopefully with more tables I'll be able to get some more exciting hands. 9-6 on the top here. There's 200 in the pot. I've got 320 left. I'm going to shove almost any flop. I hit the 9. It's an intimidating bet by him, but I think I don't have a choice but to shove. I could obviously flat call, or I could fold, but I just don't think that's the right decision right now. He's got 10-3, so clearly my shove was the right play. I shipped king 6 over here. I was short stacked, got it in well. Couldn't dodge the deck. This guy seems to be playing pretty loose on the top right. He just called me off with 10-3, so I'm going to go ahead and ship my ace-10 against him, against his limp. His limp looks... Oh, ace-jack. I guess that was probably where his range would have been. I could have put him on quite a lot weaker. Queen-king, queen-jack, king-10. Built up some chips just to go and lose that. Top left, I've got average chip stacks, short stack shoves. I'm going to reshove him. I got it in with 10s on the top right. Managed to win that all in. And I managed to win the all in on the top left. He had 5s, so I had him dominated pre-flop. This guy on the top right is playing extremely loose right now. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten the best of him yet. I've got a very short stack, but I'm sure that if I can pick up all-in worthy hand, I will be able to double up at least once against him. Under the gun limped, ace-king in the middle, extremely standard shove. He folded. I'm sure I had him dominated. I really don't like under the gun limps for myself in the early stages of a sit and go. Or sorry, of a Super Turbo sit and go. Personally, I find that so many players play so aggressive that limping huge monster hands is very profitable, because somebody later might decide to shove you, and that's the best scenario where you get paid off. People are a lot less hesitant to go all in than they are to call shoves. Ace-queen on the top right, I've got a big stack, but I am going to go all in, as well as the ace-king on the bottom. I'm also going to go all in. I managed to steal the ace-queen, and with ace-king I have one caller. He's a short stack. Got it in with 4-6. Can't be sure what he was thinking. Wow, we've got an all-in up here. This is the table where I was dominated at. I would have flopped a set, although I would have lost to the flush. I was hoping that the jack-queen would knock out the 7s to get me into the money. I only have 20 chips left, so I'm more or less guaranteed out. But in the scenario where the jack-queen won that all-in, I would have suddenly been heads up and gotten second place. When you're short stacked for the whole game, usually getting second place doesn't seem that bad. I've finished 5 games, lost all 5 of them unfortunately. Hopefully we could get something going. In these games, first place gets over 4 out of the 6 buy-ins of the prize pool. So getting first is extremely important. You'd like to get more first than second. That's why when I play 3-handed with a big stack, I'm usually a lot more aggressive. When when I'm short stacked three-handed, I'm usually just trying to make the money, but if I'm big stacked, I'm trying to go for first place and nothing but first place. I want to make heads up with a big chip lead. King Queen on the top right against a short stacked, pretty standard all in. Unfortunately, he had me dominated, and I go on to lose another hand. Now I've got ace queen on the top right. I've only got 3.5 big blinds left. Or sorry, I've got ace deuce. I'm gonna go all in here. You don't have to shove, but it's relatively standard. I got it in well against king queen, although he has a lot of outs. He goes on to hit and knocks me out one more game. On the bottom right, I had king queen offsuit with an average stack. I constantly see people shoving or raising or even calling with ace or king queen there. I just do not think that's the right play early in a sit and go. People have the mentality that it's a super turbo and king queen is a great hand, but when you're six-handed under the gun, it's just really not that strong of a hand that you need to be playing when you'll have a lot of opportunity later in a game to pick up chips. Ace 8, I'm going to fold here. I thought I was short stacked, so I'd contemplated a shove, but I have a decent stack, so I went on to fold. I'm also going to fold the ace deuce. The chip leader raised me. Maybe I'd re-raise him all in with ace jack suited, ace queen, pocket sevens are better, maybe most pocket pairs, all pocket pairs, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be raising him with deuces or threes. I don't even think I'd be limping because I've got still 10 big blinds. I've got pocket threes on the top. With the short stacked, I'm going to go all in, hope for the best. The blinds have gotten huge. The big blind is up to 120. I got it in well against king deuce. Unfortunately, he hit a king and a deuce. Jack's on the bottom. I'm going to go on to shove these. There's no point in getting fancy with just a limp or a min raise. Jacks aren't a strong enough hand to really be confident seeing a flop. You want to try and get it all in pre-flop if you have jacks in a super turbo. If not, fold if it's early in a super turbo and you've got a lot of aggression before you. I've got king jack under the gun in the middle with a short stack. Pretty standard shove considering I've got less than 4 big blinds. The chip leader called me with jack 9 for some reason. Thankfully he did not catch his straight on the river. What I was saying earlier about being aggressive three-handed like I am on the $20 game on the left side of the table. Usually I try and exploit the short stack. I'm willing to risk all of my chips if it means building a big stack going into heads up. I've hit the 10. I can't be too confident with this flop, but I think I'm ahead of his range. He's probably min betting 70% of hands, so I'm going to go ahead and raise him. Hopefully he doesn't have a 10 or anything stronger in his hand. Like I said, he's only got ace high, and he did not go on to win the hand. Aggression three-handed is more or less key. You need to be able to build that big stack so that you could get heads up with a decent stack. So now we're heads up in a $20 game, so we could make back some of our losses if we win this. The blinds are at 5,100, so we're sitting with 15 big blinds. Ace 10, I would sometimes shove, sometimes raise, sometimes flat call. We have enough blinds that I went and put in a 250 chip raise. He folded. Over here, I put in a 400 chip all in with queens. He called with queen 9. Very weak call by him, but I'm not complaining. I took down the pot. Now I'm one of the bigger chip stacks on that table. Ace 5 on the bottom left, heads up. I'm going to play it the exact same way that I played the Ace 10, raised it to 250. If I didn't raise there, I'd probably fold. He seems to be playing relatively tight. He hasn't called either of my raises yet. He auto-shipped. I have Ace 7. I'm definitely not calling here, although there are a lot of hands that I would be calling with. Probably Ace Jack or better. Maybe pocket 7s are better. Pocket 7s might be a bit weak. I've got 7 big blinds in the middle here with Ace 10. I'm going to go ahead and go all in. Hope to steal these blinds, which I did. Deuce Queen, heads up. I'm going to limp this. The blinds are getting a bit bigger. I might be able to make a play at him on the flop. I flopped a flush draw. I don't want to get all in here, but I'm willing to if I have to. I'm going to play this somewhat aggressively. I'll bet 155, which is about almost 3/4 of the pot. I've turned a deuce, so now I could hit a queen or a deuce and be pretty confident with my hand. So I'm going to go on to bet another 250. It's a smaller bet. I could still get off of a hand on the river. I'm kind of confused to what he might have here, so I'm going to go ahead and check. I could still be ahead. He had the pair of 5s. I did have a lot of outs, although I wasn't able to hit. I think that I lost the minimum there. I obviously could have played the hand tighter. He probably wouldn't have been calling me, or sorry, betting into me with just the pair of 5s. Got the $42 game that I'd registered in on the top has finally started. It's on the top left over here. I've got Ace 3, heads up. I've only got about 5-6 big blinds, so I'm going to go ahead and call this shove. Hopefully I'm ahead, but I'm likely not. I'm just pretty committed there. Yep, he was ahead. I picked up a flush draw, which I couldn't catch. I suppose I would be folding the Ace 3 there sometimes, but I don't think that there's really a right or a wrong way to play that Ace 3. I think folding and calling are about as equally profitable in the long run. In the $10 format of these games, first place gets 42 and second place gets 18. So first is making more than second, or more than double what second place makes. So there's quite a big difference here. I've got pocket 9s here with a big stack, although the others both have pretty good stack sizes. I'm going to go ahead and go all in. I've got a strong enough hand to play an all in, and I've also got a lot of chips in the middle there that are out there to steal. The steal worked, so I'm not complaining. King Jack on the bottom right. I've got 3 big blinds, so I don't have much choice to go all in there. It's not like I can exactly wait for a great hand. King Jack's about as good as I can ask for. Got all in versus King 10, and I hit the 10, or sorry, I hit the Jack. And I have doubled up. I'm now second in chips on that table. Like I'd said before, aggression is key. You want to pick up pots when you're three-handed with a big stack, so I'm going to go ahead and raise my ace-8 to 400. I could have probably gone all in, although I didn't want to play a big pot against the other guy who had over 1,000 chips left. But I'm willing to get it in against the short stack if I have to. He re-raises me all in, and now I'm committed. I got it in pretty well against ace-5. Hopefully I can hold up. And I did. So now I'm going heads up with a pretty good 2-to-1 chip lead. The blinds are pretty big on this heads up game. He's got about 8 big blinds and the chip average is 10, so I could play really aggressive here. Just because there's so many chips in the middle before we even make any plays. I haven't had any good cards, but hopefully I can get it in with a strong ace or a pair. He seems to be raising every small blind. I've still got more chips than him. Queen 8, I'm going to go ahead and min raise just because I haven't raised a single hand yet, so it's probably looking strong. Although he's playing extremely aggressive right now and he re-raised me. At least if I get a hand against him, I can be pretty confident I'm going to get paid off. 10 jack. I don't want to go all in here. I see people make this call all the time, but it's just not the right call. I'm probably behind his range. King Queen suited, pretty standard, easy all in. It's the first pot that he hasn't won, heads up. King 10 on the bottom. I have a short stacked. The big stack who's very aggressive went all in, so I'm going to call him and hope to double up. Got it all in versus King 5, so I'm way ahead. Well, now I'm way behind. Okay, well, I clearly made the right call there. Unfortunately, I couldn't hold up against him. On this heads-up table, I think I'm just going to start raising almost anything just because he's been taking down every pot and I'm getting too short stacked. I need to start making a stand. He's folded to all of my all-ins, well, both of my all-ins so far, so hopefully I could steal a few big blinds off of him. Three, 4 suited, not a hand that you want to get called with, but I've got a lot of outs against most hand that can call me. He called with deuces. I flopped a straight. Obviously very lucky of me, but it was just a coin flip considering he was calling with only deuces. 10's on the top. I've got 3 big blinds, 6 big blinds went all in. I'm going to call. It's a coin flip. Oh, and he hit his king. Although I rivered my ace-10 versus the 8s here. So I won that $10 game for $42. Cut a few of my losses there. Still down about $45 and a few buy-ins, but these are super turbos. I've got 2 pair here, bottom 2 pair in the $40 game. I can call a small bet, but there's a ton of hands that have me beat. He actually went on to make a big bet. I'm motivated to go all in, although I'm not going to. I've still got a pretty good chip stack, so He could have very readily had a flush already or a straight, 2 pair. There's a ton of hands that had me beat. Guess I'm just waiting for more games to start up. I'm registered in a $10, a $20, and a $40 game. I was gonna try and play about 20 to 25 sit-and-goes in an hour during this video. I'm finished 11 so far. So, I guess I'm about halfway done, a bit more than halfway. I've got pocket 4s on the top with a pretty small chip stack, so I'm going to go ahead and go all in. Unfortunately, the big blind also has a short stack, so he's likely calling me weak. I didn't need a shove there, but I was getting short and I'd rather make a play to a larger stack. Unfortunately, everybody's called me. Every single person's got a hand better than mine. I made a full house, although I lost to the ace-jack, who made a full house also. He won the 4-way all-in. I've got jacks on the bottom left with 10 big blinds. I'm going to go ahead and go all in. I think I want to call here. Hopefully I could get somebody to call me with an under pair. There's also a lot of people out there that are willing to call you with ace-9, king jack even. So jacks are definitely a good hand to just ship pre-flop with. I've hit an ace on the top. I've also got a little flush draw, so I'm going to go ahead and bet 2/3 of the pot, 40 chips. Still a small bet, but hopefully I can get a bit of value without having to risk all of my chips. Got ace-king on the bottom. Gonna go all in. Not really any other way to play the ace-king. There's no point in just raising because it's extremely complicated playing a flop when you've only got 9 big blinds with ace-king, unless you, of course, hit a monster hand. Ace-jack on the top. I've got an extremely short stack, so I'm going all in. I've got big blind and a half, although if I can double up here, I'll be almost back to chip average. Got 1 caller, 2 callers. Unfortunately, I didn't hit. I've still got the 10 to the straight. And his king deuce called me, and he managed to hit 2 pair, so that took it down. I've got ace king on the bottom left. Chip average player under the gun shipped. I'm going to go ahead and call with my ace king. Hopefully I'm ahead. We're coin flipping. Went ahead and rivered the ace high straight, so I took that one down. King queen on the top. Under the gun, put in a pretty big bet. I'm going to go ahead and fold. If I had ace queen, I'd probably raise all in there, but I'm behind any ace and any pocket pair. I'm either behind or flipping against, so there's no point in gambling with that right there. Now I'm three-handed with about the chip lead on this game on the bottom left. I'm going to go ahead and ship this Jack Queen on the top. This is the bottom of my range basically, but hopefully I could just steal the blinds. And I did steal the blinds, so that worked out for me. On the bottom left here, I flopped a top pair, a jack. He bet 100 and then checked the turn. So I'm going to go ahead and bet 100. I'm probably ahead. Although my top pair of the jack is probably ahead here, I don't want to build too large of a pot without being in the money yet, so I'm going to go ahead and check. He had a flush draw, so he wouldn't have been able to call me anyways. I've got pocket sixes on the top right with a min raise followed by a bigger raise. So I'm going to go ahead and fold. I've got kings three-handed here. I'm going to go ahead and min raise. Hopefully I could get at least a bit of value. Unfortunately, they both folded. The short stack went all in. I've got 5-8, so I can't call, but if I had anything better, I would. And I'm raising all in with my sixes against a limp in the small blind. He called me with queen 8, so I guess it wasn't necessarily a bad play by him, but it wasn't a bad play by me either. I managed to win the coin flip. Okay, so I'm heads up in this game now with chip average. Pocket queens first hand. He seems to be playing very aggressive, so I'm going to limp and hope that he raises all in. I flopped a set. But it doesn't look like he's got... Oh, wow. Ace 10 beat my pocket jacks on the top. He rivered a straight. Sorry, I was saying the heads up game. It doesn't look like he's got anything, so hopefully he could have rivered a pair of 8s or something. I guess 10 jack, 5-7, and 7-10 have me beat. I'm going to go ahead and raise. Maybe he's got 2 pair. Maybe he's just bluffing. He called with 5-7. I was going to just flat call. I guess I slow played that hand too heavily, unfortunately. Although I wouldn't have had any value if I'd bet earlier. because he didn't have anything, but he hit a backdoor straight draw, backdoor gut shot straight draw, which leaves me with a smaller stack, but one all in and I'm right back in it. King Queen versus Ace 9 on the top. I was short stack, so it was a pretty standard call. Unfortunately, his Ace High held up. King 9 down here, I'm willing to get it all in. I'm pretty likely behind, but I've got so few chips that I don't have much choice at this point. Yeah, I'm very behind. In the middle here, Jack 3 raised under the gun. I re-raised him with Ace 10. For some reason, he was raising Jack 3. He managed to flop 2 pair and take out my Ace 10. I guess I'm down about 8 buy-ins, $120. It's a pretty standard variance for Super Turbos. I could just as easily make it all back within 2 or 3 games. I'm running pretty below EV, $70 below expected value. I guess here's the big picture. It hasn't gone well for me at any stake so far. I'm getting, I guess you could see on the bottom left here that I'm getting way too many thirds and way too many fourths. I guess I've been blinding out a lot too much. I haven't really had many playable hands, so this is it's turned out that way. But like I said, this is just standard variance, and you need to learn to live with it. I'm going to go ahead and see if there's any Super Turbo Double or Nothings registering right now. There's a $12 game that has 6 out of 8 players. I'll go and register in that. I know I was going to play predominantly 6-person Super Turbos, but that game won't really ruin the mood too much. Just got to try and make back some of my losses. Unfortunately, I'm not as strong of a player at the Super Turbo Double or Nothings. I have about a 9% average ROI through 600 games, which is really good, although I feel like I'm probably running pretty well. Maybe I'm better at them than I think I am, but they're a tricky game to understand because in a Double or Nothing you don't want people to call your all-ins, and you don't want to really gamble unless you have an extremely strong hand, because the most money you can make from winning a game is double your buy-in. So you should never be getting it in with worse than 50% equity. The Super Turbo Double or Nothing started over here on the bottom left. It's 8 people. $12 buy-in. Top 4 get about $23 after rake. Got another $20 game started, and I've got pocket kings in the $40 game up here. I've got one limp. It looks like a weak limp because he's got a big stack. Hopefully I could just try and extract some value on every streak. I've got the small blind calling also. I'm gonna go ahead and raise it to 90. I want calls. Obviously, I've got pocket kings. It's a good hand. I'm willing to get all in with it all of the time. They both called. 2 jacks hit the flop. I still think that I should be ahead, and I'm still willing to get it all in. But now I've got a lot of a weaker hand, or a much weaker hand. There's also a flush draw out there. Now they both check the flop. It's a pretty safe looking turn card. I'm going to put a really small bet in there, 75. I was trying to get some value. Maybe somebody with pocket sixes can call me, but I guess they must have had nothing considering they both folded. Like I said, this guy over here in the $40 game, Fiona_1, he must have had a really weak limp. Like I said earlier, I just don't think you should be limping in early position unless you're planning to trap with maybe aces or kings, because somebody is pretty likely to shove behind you. Sorry guys that I've got 7 tables up right now. I'll try and finish one of them up. I know it's a lot easier for you guys to see what I'm doing when there's only 6 tables. I've got pocket jacks in the $42 game. There are 2 limpers. One of them has a big stack. He's the chip leader. I'm going to go ahead and go all in. Hopefully he didn't trap with aces or kings. There's also the short stacked. He's committed to calling now. He's got queen 10. Hopefully I could dodge the queen or the jack on the river. Oh, and the board made a flush, so him and I split the pot. Although that hand now leaves me the chip leader. I've got pocket jacks on 2 tables here. I'm going to go all in on both of them. Not too much point in just raising because it's really hard to play against a caller on a flop. Any flop with... Oh, I ran into aces, but I hit a jack, luckily. He had a pretty short stack, so that's good. We've got ace-6 with a really short stack on the top left. Deuce 7-7 on the flop. I think ace-high is probably ahead. I'm going to go all in and just try and steal this. I really don't want a caller, but I'm sure people can call with worse hands. Oh, unfortunately they both called, so at this point I can imagine somebody's got to have me beat. The guy in the small blind managed to call with just a deuce, and his deuce held up. I guess in that situation I should have been shoving pre-flop, although who knows, the flop could have worked out very differently. Ace-10 in the middle here. I'm going to go ahead and limp. I don't want to have to get too many chips in with ace-10 offsuit early, but I'm willing to try and take down a small pot. As well as my king-10 on the top. I'm going to go all in, considering I only have 6 big blinds. I'm not looking for a call, I'm just trying to steal it. The steal worked. I guess king 10 there, I'd probably say that I'm going all in 50% of the time. It's not a play that you need to make, but it's a play that you need to make some percentage of the time, because I was a short stacked and stealing those blinds helped me get back to a bigger stack. I've got ace-9 in the middle. Against the big stack. I'm going to go ahead and go all in. I'm kind of deep still, but I think he could call me pretty weak. He folded. I took it down. I'm perfectly happy with that. I've got top pair on the top left. I'm going to go ahead and fold because there was a raise and an all-in. And my ace-king up here, I'm going to re-raise all-in. I guess I was right. My 9-10 on the top left would have ran into 10-queen. And my ace-king on the top ran into ace-5. Unfortunately, he hit a flush. I got it in very well there. But he took down that big pot. I'm actually going to go ahead and go all in with my queen 8. I've only got a big blind and a half. There's not I don't have too many options. I obviously could have folded, but I just need to gamble and try and double up. Went on to lose it. Ace queen on the bottom against the big stacked again. I'm gonna re-raise or raise all in. Got called by Jack 9. Not sure how he could call. Hopefully I fold or I hold up, which I did. I've got jacks under the gun in the double or nothing. I went all in. There's not really any other way to play the hand other than folding, of course, because when you've only got 8 big blinds in a Super Turbo that's 7-handed, limping is just not going to work out for me. I'm scared of almost any flop except for a flop with a jack. And my jacks managed to steal the blinds. That's basically exactly what I wanted out of that hand. I'm going to shove this 8-9 here. I've played pretty tight. I want to build some bigger chips. He called with ace-4. I flopped trip 8s. I didn't need a shove there. I'm probably shoving 30-40% of the time. The blinds have gotten bigger, so I just need to make a play at trying to steal some chips. One of the players on the table called me stupid, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that play. Now I've got queens the next hand. Now I look like a donkey, so I'm just going to go all in. They might think I'm shoving pretty weak, whereas I have a really strong pre-flop hand. They folded, but I picked up the 150 chips. In the middle here, I've got bottom pair, gut shot, straight draw, and a flush draw. I'm going to bet half the pot. The three of us in the hand all have pretty decently sized chip stacks. I don't want to have to get it all in on this flop, but I guess I'm willing to. I got min raised. I'm going to call, but I could very readily just go all in. There's a ton of hands that I've got that I'm ahead. There's hands that I've got outs against. I've turned the 10 high flush, so hopefully he doesn't have a higher flush. All he had was top pair of the 9, so I took that huge pot down with my flush. He went all in into me. I checked. I hoped that he would have a straight draw or just the 9 and go all in, which he did. I flopped the king. The short stack's got 340 chips total, and he bet. The other stack also called. I'm going to re-raise the short stack all in to 340. I got it in bad, but not too much I can do there. I'm paying him off either way. I've got a pretty good hand. There's a lot that I'm ahead of. There's obviously hands that I'm behind, but most importantly, there's a lot that I'm ahead of. There's a 3-way all-in on the $42 game on the top. I'm the only one not in the hand. I believe the guy second in chips won the all in, so now we're heads up. First place gets $100 more than second, so hopefully I can take this game down. I'm at about a 3-to-1, a 2-to-1 chip, 3-to-1 chip disadvantage. But one double up and I'm right back. Queen high is actually a pretty strong hand on this board. I'm gonna go all in, but I really hope he just has nothing that can call me. His bet looks completely like a bluff, just to try and take down the pot. He's pretty pot committed, so he'll probably call, but he's likely got a weaker hand than me because I think a lot. Oh, he went on to fold. That ended up working out very well. I risked 660 chips to win 600, and it worked out for me. That's not a play that I'd make a huge percentage of the time, but I'm making it when I feel I have a solid read, like I did there. Although I'm just going to go ahead and fold this this Queen 10 against him. I don't need to get overly aggressive in this heads-up play. Although I am going to go all in with my ace-6. I've only got 6 big blinds, 7 big blinds. So I stole that pot. I'm a short stacked in a $20 three-handed game here. Okay, I have flopped the 6. I'm not sure how I feel about my hand, but I'm going to call. Hopefully he's willing to just check it down, because I feel that I'm ahead. He did check it down with me, and I took it down. He had King 10, so he was just trying to steal it. So now I have a very slight chip lead in this heads-up game. I'm going to go ahead and bluff at this flop, 225. Just try and take it down. If he plays into me, I would have just folded. If he were to call and then bet on the turn, I would have folded. Pocket 9's on the bottom here, three-handed, short stack, standard all in. Unfortunately, he folded. I would have liked to double up there. I've got kings now. I'm going to go all in. I can't really slow play when I've only got 4 big blinds. And then I stole those chips. So I'm slowly stealing some blinds and getting some chips back. 3-4 here on the top left. He seems to be limping a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and raise him. Extremely weak raise by me, but I'm just trying to take it down, which it worked. I probably would have shoved most flops. Queen 9 now. I'm starting to kind of get some stuff going for me. I'm going to ship. This is it's not a terrible ship, but I'm not making this ship very often. I'm just hoping that he folds, which he did. He seems to be playing pretty tight right now. He's letting me steal pots. I'm heads up in 3 games right now. I'm going to focus most on the $42 game on the top. I'm short stacked on the other games. Ace-Jack. We've only got 6 big blinds, extremely standard, all in by me. He folded. I've doubled up on both of my other heads-up games. I'm all in with 6-8 on the bottom right, only because I had very few chips and it seemed like a good opportunity to try and triple up. Ace-7, heads up here. I'm going to call. I don't have very many chips. He's a pretty strong player, but he could be shoving a lot weaker than this. He had 4-6, so he truly did have a lot weaker than me. I made a full house. I'm going to shove this 6-9 suited. I'm not hoping for a call, but if he calls, I have a lot of outs. Unless he has an overpair, but I've got suited, almost suited connectors, so There's a lot of hands that I can play against. Ace 10 down here, I'm going to go all in. He's got 9 big blinds, he limped. And Ace King on the top left, I'm going to obviously call. He's got 5s. Unfortunately, we're flipping. It's not looking great for me. And his 5s held up. So now I'm short stack with only about 2.5 big blinds, 2 big blinds now. I'm going to have to play extremely aggressive. I've got a coin flip here, deuces versus ace 9. I hit a boat, or sorry, a set, and I won. I lost the $42 game, but I won the $20 game. Pretty disappointed about that hand with ace king against the 5s, but not much I can do. With my king 4 here, I've got top pair with a king high flush draw with a pretty small stack, so I'm just going to go ahead and re-raise him all in. He folded. I'd imagine he must have had nothing. We're now on the bubble in the double or nothing on the top. The 2 short stacks are now all in against each other. I'm a big stack. And now the short stack is drawing dead, so we've made the money for $23 on that table. I'm going to go ahead and ship my king queen here. I've got 6 big blinds. He could be calling me with a lot weaker. He's probably calling me with most kings, probably king 9 or better. Maybe queen jack. There's obviously a lot that I'm behind also, but very standard shove to shove the king queen there. Now I've got jacks. He seems relatively loose, so I'm going to limp, and I'm going to hope that he goes all in. Although I very easily could have raised to 400, I could have raised all in, I could have done anything with this hand. I'm obviously never folding. I chose to limp. I flopped a set. I just checked. Hopefully he could bluff at me on the river, which he has chosen not to do, so I'm just going to go and bet minimum, make my hand look like a complete bluff. I guess he must have had nothing. Now I've got 4s. He is min raised. We've only got like 8 big blinds or less, so I'm going to go ahead and go all in. And I've got, we're coin flipping. Ace 8 on the top. I'm going to call just because I don't have too many chips, and it's a pretty loose looking shove by him. He's got 7 jack. So I'm ahead. There's a pretty weak shove by him. Well, a very weak shove. I'm behind a decent amount of the time, but I feel that I'm ahead against his shove often enough to profitably make that call. Can't knock out this player heads up yet. He's won 2 all-ins in a row. He's back to 600 chips. But I'm sure I'll knock him out eventually. He had almost half of his chips already in there. I don't know how he folded, but I'm not complaining. Jack 9 versus 8-10. Hopefully I can hold up. Just he had no choice but to go all in there. King deuce on the top. I'm going to limp, maybe make a play. We've all got pretty equal stacks. He went and put in a big raise to 240, so I'm going to fold. On the bottom here, we've basically just been going all in every single hand. I finally took it down. I've got 4s up here. I debated folding them, but I decided to put in a really little raise. I'm going to fold to a 3-bet. Just because I was able to fold to a 3-bet because I had enough chips to still be comfortably in it. They managed to fold there. There seems to be less players online than when I started the session, considering I can only get 2 tables up right now. I think I've cut most of my losses. I'm now down only $40. I was down $160. And I'm actually still running quite below EV. As you can see, my EV is about positive $12. I'm down 40, which could be made back in a hand or two, or a game or two. Since there's not very much action, I'm gonna go back ahead, or go back and see if there's any double or nothing games that I can register in. Unfortunately, no game has more than 1 player registered, so I'm not going to bother registering. I don't want to have to play those unless there's no volume at the Super Turbos. I've finished 23 games so far. Hopefully I could wrap up this video within 7 games. Make it a 30 game video. Obviously not enough volume to really get an idea of how to play optimally at these Super Turbos, but you can get the gist of some of the hands that I'm folding and some of the hands that I'm calling. I tend to make bluffs that a lot of players don't make, such as check raises without anything. So I find those really profitably, and a lot of players aren't used to them. I'm going to go ahead and raise these aces to 80, just because there's a bunch of limpers, and I want somebody to shove. I shipped the ace-7, short stacked 3-handed, stole the blinds. Could have folded there, waited for something better, but I decided to try and take it down. A king has hit this flop with my aces, so I'm hoping that he has a king. I'm going to go ahead and bet 80 again. He folded, so he must have had nothing. I made a weaker shove on the right side with ace-7 suited with about 10 big blinds. I'm probably only making that all in 20-25% of the time. As the blinds get bigger, I'm obviously making that raise a lot more often. Unfortunately, I'm not getting many all-in worthy hands 3-handed on this table. The blinds are getting bigger and my stack is getting shorter, so I'm going to try and make a play the next 1 or 2 hands. I've got king-queen, so if somebody shoves, I'm getting it in. King-queen against 5s, I'm just hoping for the best. Managed to river the king, now I'm second in chips. I'm also 3-handed on another $10 game over here. I'm the short stack, but the guy second in chips has about a similar stack to mine. So I'm kind of just hoping he knocks himself out. I made heads up over here. I've got about 1/4 of the chips in play. So I need to try and take some chips from him. So I'm going to go out, bet 140, try and take this down. It worked out for me, so I'm really starting to get short stacked in the middle here. I'm just really hoping that I could either pick up a hand or the player in second will get knocked out. Second place gets $18, and that's all I'm playing for at this point. I can't see myself getting first. Um, 5-6 on the top left. I've already got a big percentage of my chips in there. I'm hoping to just get it in with 2 live undercards, which I have. I didn't win, but I still got second. I also got second. I've made the money on this game in the middle. The big stack managed to knock out the other player, so that worked out well for me. I managed to just hold off and let him knock the other player out, so I could have that min cash of $18. I'm shoving very weak right now on this table. Obviously, I've got an extremely low chip stack, so I'm shoving almost anything when I'm that short. I picked up a two double ups in a row, so I'm now up to 700. One more double up, and I'll be right there. I've got ace king on the top left. There's one limper. I'm going to go ahead and go all in. I've also got kings on the bottom. Unfortunately, an ace hit. I was hoping that somebody would go all in, but that doesn't appear to have worked out for me. I'm just going to try and check it down if I could. He went and bet pretty big, so I'm going to go ahead and fold. Luckily, I won this flip on the top. He had raised the limper to, I believe, 67 chips. I shipped 500 with ace king, hit the king, thankfully, and won the all-in. I'm now down $28 on the session. I've got 10s on the bottom left with a kind of short stack. A big stack went all in against a limp. His all-in feels pretty strong, although I'm going to go ahead and call with my 10s just because I don't have much other choice with the short stack. Got it all in versus ace-6. I guess I was wrong. It was a weak shove by him. Luckily, I flopped a set, took that pot down. I've shoved ace-king on the bottom right. I didn't really need to shove because it was early in the game. Got it in versus king-queen. And I managed to win the double up. He did not really need to be calling me there with king-queen. He had a big stack, and I had an average stack. I shoved 25 big blinds with ace-king, which I'm most usually doing with ace-king just because it's pretty hard to raise a hand when you only have 25 big blinds in a Super Turbo and everybody's playing so aggressive. Luckily, he called me with king-queen. Honestly, I thought he would have at least 10s or better, but I'm grateful that he didn't. I guess I'm done. I've finished 25 games so far, and I'm registered in 5 currently. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these 5 games. and then I'll be done my 30 game video. I've limped aces in under the gun here. I've got a smaller stack, but I was hoping to just trap somebody going into all in, like Hard River has. He's shoved into my aces, which is exactly what I want to see. Most of the time, I'm just limping my aces here, trying to get somebody to go all in. He has fives, so I have him dominated as long as he doesn't hit a 5. And he didn't, which allowed me to double up. I called off a pretty small short stacked all in with ace deuce here. Luckily I hit my deuce against his ace 5. Most of the time we're split potting there, so it's not a wrong call by me, but luckily I managed to win. I'm going to go ahead and raise small raise with my ace 4. I'm also going to go ahead and just flat call with my open-ended straight draw here. I feel like he might have just been trying to take down the pot. He's bet again, so I feel he's a bit stronger than I thought he was originally. I've got ace, so I'm going to go ahead and fold my 8-10. I've got the top pair on the bottom left with ace 4. He bet the turn, very small bet. I called. He is bet again. I'm not quite sure what he can have. I feel like he might have king queen if he has me beat, or he's bluffing. I'm going to go ahead and call. He was bluffing. He rivered the king. I feel like he thinks that he was value betting. Clearly the wrong time to make a value bet there, as I picked up a 1100 chip pot by just calling him down with my ace and letting him bluff into me. Ace queen suited in the small blind with 4 big blinds. Standard shove. Love to see ace queen suited there. Stole the big blind. Alright, I'm heads up in another $5 game. I've got a slight chip lead. Hopefully I could take this one down. Maybe make an interesting play or two for you guys to see. I'm going to go ahead and shove my jack queen suited on the top, just because the blinds are really high, and I've got a hand that has a lot of equity against most hands all in, and I could obviously steal the blinds, which was my original goal, so that worked out for me. I'm going to go ahead and raise my queen 6, just because I feel like getting a few chips out there, stealing a few. It worked out for me. I've got ace 10 on the top. Big blind has chip average, but that's only 4 big blinds as the blinds are huge, so I'm going to make a standard all in with my ace 10. I'm making this all in 100% of the time when the blinds are this high, and we have these chip stacks. I have a big stack, and he's got an average stack. All I'm looking for is to steal the big blind there, and it worked out for me. Now I've got ace jack on that same table on the button. I'm going to shove, although if either of the 2 players before me had made any play at the pot, limp, an all-in, a raise, I probably would have just folded and kept out of trouble. I've got king queen. I'm starting to build a big chip stack. I think I'm going to go ahead and fold here. I could have called. I'm just going to choose not to. I limped 3s heads up over here. I flopped a set, although I don't think he has anything at all. Hopefully he could call me down with a jack, maybe a weak ace. He might have a flush draw, but I'm putting him on like a jack 9 kind of hand right now. I can't get too much value, but I could hopefully just get some min value against him. I've rivered a boat. The flush has missed, so there's no value betting against diamonds. I'm just going to put a really small 140 chip bet, hope that he could call me with a jack, like I was saying, jack 9 or weak jack. He called. Obviously I won with my full house. He had king jack. It was a stronger jack than I thought, but more or less exactly what I figured he had. Not the ace, but the jack. I've got queens. He seems to be playing relatively tight. I'm gonna put in a min raise. Hopefully he could re-raise me all in. Unfortunately he folded. I've got fives on the top. I'm gonna go all in just because the blinds are huge. I've got one caller so far. Although the caller, I've got it in verse sevens, unfortunately. Although I have some outs. I did not hit my outs, so that didn't work out for me, but it happens. I've got queen 6, made it heads up onto this game. I called a min raise pre-flop with my queen 6. Extremely scary looking board. I have a 6. I'm just going to check. I took it down, thankfully. I shipped ace deuce on the top left heads up game. I have a big stack. He has a little stack. Just trying to steal some chips. I've got ace 10 here. Blinds are huge. Really standard shove by me. Maybe somebody might argue not to call there, or sorry, to go all in. I got it in extremely poorly, unfortunately. Lost the hand, but I still don't have any problems with that all in. I think it's the right play. So now I'm heads up in a $10 game and a $5 game, and I've got I've got chip average in the $20 game. So hopefully I can make heads up in the 20 also. On the bottom I have 9 big blinds. He has shipped. I have ace jack. I'm calling. I'm sure I'm way ahead of his range. He's shoved ace deuce. So clearly he's shoving any ace in that scenario. It worked out for me. I doubled up. On this top game, I'm going to go out and put in a little bet, just try and steal it with my 8-9. And the steal worked for me. On this bottom table, I don't think that he could have much. I feel like queen high might be good, although he might have rivered a king with king high or something. He put in a pretty big bet. I'm going to obviously go fold unless I decide to make a hero call. But I don't feel that was the right time for a hero call with ace high, or sorry, queen high. I'm going to go out and, he has shoved ace 9. He had shoved ace deuce a few hands ago, so I still feel I'm ahead of his range. I'm folding a decent amount of the time here, but I'm calling here. He's got ace 9, he's got ace 10, so I'm dominated, unfortunately. I got lucky on the river and we split pot. I guess I mainly made that call just because of the ace deuce the hand before. He might have been tilting, shoving weaker hands. I was pretty far behind, but he only did have ace 10, so he very readily could have had ace 8 there, and I would have had him dominated. Unfortunately, I haven't had any playable hands in this $20 game. I had a big stack earlier when I doubled up with ace king versus queen king. Short stacked has shipped. I'm second short stack, so I'm going to re-raise him all in. I would really like to take down this pot. It's already 1,000 chips. Although I don't have him covered by very much. He's got ace deuce, so I've got him dominated. Oh, and he makes a full house. Unfortunately, he had to hit both those deuces there, so I now have an extreme short stack. I've got sixes, so I could just get it all in here and hope that I could double or triple up. I've continued to bet my 8 here. I felt that he didn't have an ace. Felt he would have raised an ace pre-flop. Unfortunately, his 9-10 hit against my sixes, and I'm now out on the $20 game after my ace-9 lost to ace-deuce. I've got about chip average on both of these tables. Blinds are starting to get higher. I flopped a flush draw here. I'm going to bet pretty big, 225 into 300. Took it down. I would have called a raise. I've got kings. He's played pretty tight the last few hands, but I'm gonna limp and hope that I can trap him. I called with queen jack over here. He made a really weak shove, and I took it down. And my kings are still an overpair to this board. I bet 150 on the flop. I'm gonna bet 150 again. Took it down. Now I've got a big chip lead on the left side. 5-1 chip lead. So I've basically got to call any all in with any hand just because we have so few chips. Ace-9 on the right. I'm gonna go ahead and go all in. Oh, my king-5 rivered his ace-6, so I took down that $5 game. Hopefully I could just take down this last game. Nine queen. I'm folding probably 40% of the time, or 50%, and going all in the other 50%. Just because he had so few chips, he could have called with a weaker hand. He called coin flipping. I lost the flip, and now we're back to equal stacks. The blinds have just raised, so as the blinds raise, you tend to get more aggressive. I'm shoving a lot of hands right now, like Jack 10 offsuit. It's really crucial to just steal some blinds because you could very easily blind out or blind to a short stack without really even noticing it. 10 jack again. I shoved last hand. I'm going to do it again. Ace king. Hopefully we could get an all in here. He shipped. Instant call by me. He is 3-7. Hopefully I can hold up. And now he is drawing dead. Alright guys, that was my 30 game session. I finished the session down $18, which is a pretty small loss considering I was playing up to $40 Super Turbos. I was actually up buy-in wise. This is my graph of my buy-ins. I was about, well, break even buy-in wise. I had lost $12 at the $40 games, $30 at the 20s, but I won at the 10s. I ran a bit under EV. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video. I'm going to be making more. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think about it. Thanks a lot for watching.